A Prime Minister well behind in the polls, choosing to call an election before he had to. All of Westminster asking the same question. Why now? To answer that, you need to go back in time. To January of last year, Rishi Sunak setting out his 5 pledges to the nation.
I will only promise what I can deliver, and I will deliver what I promise.
5 promises on the economy, the NHS and immigration, the themes to win voters back to his beleaguered party. Today, the PM gambling that he can claim enough of the progress he needs. Recent good economic news, the real driver behind his decision. A morning announcement that inflation is finally back to normal levels, seized on across government as evidence their plan is working.
We are back to target, back to a time before the international crises of COVID, of the war in Ukraine.
We're not back. We're 20% higher than we were in 2021.
No. Well, inflation is back to 2.3%, which is near target. And so we're back to that sort of normality.
On immigration, plans are in place for flights to take off to Rwanda this summer. But a July election means we won't know if the boats have actually been stopped. It's a window of opportunity that Rishi Sunak has chosen to seize, but his party isn't convinced. Tory MPs are far from happy at the election decision, believing that Rishi Sunak has put his interests over theirs. They know that they are marching towards the sound of machine gun fire, but have no option but to put their fate in his hands.
There'll always be people who say he should have waited a bit longer, or some will still say he should have gone in May when we had the local elections. This is the date he's picked, and all of this will be swept aside now. Colleagues over the next few days will be returning to their constituencies, writing their election literature, getting their campaign grid up, and actually they will be working 150% for the next 42 days to be returned in their seat.
Thousands of miles away, the devastation in Gaza is an issue for voters here too. Recent elections have shown pro-Palestinian independence eating into Labour's vote. Ministers think that scenes like George Galloway's shock Rochdale win could repeat in the general election too. Labour watching closely.
We are fighting for every single vote in this general election. We take no vote and no community in any part of our country for granted. This general election is a chance to change the government of our country, and the Labour Party has a plan to change our country.
The Prime Minister is gambling his office on persuading the nation they can't afford change. Keir Starmer hoping caution and reassurance enough to get him through the door to number 10. Sam Coates, Sky News, Westminster.